Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy and the not so sexy, big children and little. I am the novelist, author, poet, Lamont Anthony Wright, aka Graffiti Bleu. Late night, well, not late. Ladies and gentlemen, but we're still talking. Dudes and dudettes, the sexy. Fuck out of here. I'm trying to cut. I cut the volume down and you just turned yourself back up. Okay. Anyhow, we'll call this Thug Percentage a Long Island story. It'll all make sense in a little bit. Okay. The year is 1995. I'm living in New York. I'm 25. I'm 25 in 1995. My age always corresponds with the year. So that's how I always know how old I am when it goes down. Biggie is crazy in New York. Biggie is dominating. The notorious B.I.G. is dominating New York. Wu-Tang is dominating. It is such a great time to party. The East and West Coast thing is kind of going on. Well, not kind, it was going on full force. And I, fatigued at the time in the rap game. I'm really tired of the rap game. The rap game, I'm trying my hardest to secure this deal, sat at the table with Troy Hightower, Leor Cohen, freaking a bunch, and the shit is not happening for me. And I'm kind of pissy. In my head, in my heart, I'm as dope, if not freaking doper, than some of the cats around me. And I felt away. And because of life shit was going on, I'm like, you know what? At the time, I'm washing dishes and pulling the gum from the bottom of tables. So I'm like, this rap shit isn't doing it. So I better go get a college degree. So me knowing that I'm getting ready to go to college in 1996, so the move was I'm getting ready to go to not the backwoods of Virginia. I'm getting ready to go to school in Roanoke, Virginia. I got a lot of love for Roanoke, Virginia. And a good friend of mine says, why don't I shout out Roanoke more? And I'm going to stop. I'm going to get off of it and act. I can't act like Roanoke was the backwoods because there was a lot of good things in Roanoke, Virginia. However, my arrogant self in 1995, coming from New York, living in Manhattan and Queens all of my life, did not necessarily look at Roanoke, Virginia as the place to be. So I felt away. So me knowing that I'm going to move from New York and I'm going to be an academic in Virginia, I'm like, better enjoy New York while I can. So the plan was to party pretty much every Friday and Saturday night for a year until it was time to start school. 1995 was that year. So every Friday and Saturday night, I was out. Now, it was cool because, and this is what I also loved about New York, is that at the time, I'm not sure who the promoters were. I'm not sure who the owner was, but there was this club that just kind of never had one building. They never had one place where they did business. They would just move around to different places. This was really before the internet is starting. Well, the internet has been there, but not in the way we know it now. And, there's stuff like Black Planet and things like that. And maybe MySpace is starting to start. There are chat rooms on AOL But the internet, there's no Twitter, there's no Instagram, there's certainly no TikTok. It's not like that. So what this club owner did is not only did the club move, and the club was never in the same spot twice. So how they would, it gave it a mystique, right? Because they had this great mailing list, and I'm on the mailing list, and they would mail you an invitation, and they would let you know where the next spot was at right before you came out. So it was freaking dope. So it was pretty much the same crowd. It was the same, I don't know, 1,000 people or whatever the number was. It was the same 1,000 people partying together, but we was all partying together at a different spot. Maybe you got the invite in the mail. Oh, the party's in Brooklyn. We'd all go to Brooklyn. Get the invite in the mail. Oh, party's in freaking Manhattan. We'd all go to Manhattan. On this night, the party was in Long Island. And man, it's wintertime. And I used to hang out with my main man, Joel. I used to work with this dude named Joel. And man, and he was my freaking running partner for the club. Vaughn, DJ LMV, was my right-hand man in the rap game, but Vaughn wasn't going, ironically, to the club. You know what I mean? It's not that I didn't ask him, but Vaughn was like, I ain't freaking going, I'm not going to the, if I'm not DJing and if I'm not getting free, I'm not going to the club. Okay, that was Vaughn's stance back then. But my man Joel, he was like me. All he wanted to do was go to the club, dance with girls, flirt with girls, and enjoy the music. So Joel and I was rolling. At this also time, and it is kind of pertinent to the story, we had these big Sherlin sheepskin coats. It's cold in New York. It's freezing in freaking New York, especially in the wintertime. But I felt no pain in this fucking giant sheepskin coat. We call them Sherlins. Y'all call them Sherlins? Anyway, I had a brown one. Joe had a black one. My partner, rolling. We was partying freaking hard. This night, the club is packed. It is crazy. They rented out, I'm assuming they rented out these different spots. Of course, they didn't own, maybe they did, but it's a safe assumption that they did not own every freaking spot we was at. So I'm assuming, but it's a safe assumption, we're in Long Island and they got this place. It is beautiful. It looks like something, the hall we were in or wherever they rented, it looked like something that should be in like a Scarface movie. It was mirrors all over the walls. It was lights all over the place. Place is packed. Everybody's having a good time. Okay? They're playing some Tupac songs. You know what I mean? Tupac did Tupac make Hit 'Em Up yet? Maybe. And but the night is pretty much dominated by like Total and 702 and 112, and it's pretty much a bad boy freaking, bad boys at their pinnacle, right? So Biggie, crazy, and they're playing One More Chance and all these songs, and it's freaking dope, having a good time. But you can't really dance with these freaking hot ass sheepskin coats on. So we go to the coat check. I'm rocking the gold Acura Integra at the time. Go to the coat check, and Joel was like me. I like to dance all night, still like to dance all night. And we're freaking, two girls want to dance, we going. This isn't a day where, girls actually danced with guys. Maybe I'm just old school now, but anyway, we're dancing, and there was a fight that broke out in the dance floor. Uh, the guy started, I guess, dancing with somebody's girl, and there was some words exchanged, whatever. They get to fighting, and the guy who started the fight, he gets thrown out, and the security was rough, man. Security was crazy. Security just kind of threw him out of the club by, it was three guys holding this guy like a battering ram, and they rammed his head into the door and opened the door and just kind of threw him out on the street. The whole crowd cheered. Yay, get him out of here. We want to dance. They closed the door and back to the music. Biggie, Biggie, give me one more chance. Biggie, Biggie, give me one more chance. Junior Mafia. Boom. Everybody's freaking dancing. Remember the Puff Daddy dance? Remember? Once upon a time, Puff was cool. Nowadays, maybe not so much. Anyway, it was so freaking dope. The mystique of the club, the invitations you get to go to the club, to some random spot, and then all of these beautiful young party people meeting at this one freaking spot to get it to really freaking dance. Man, that idea was so dope. I actually bit that idea and used it to promote later, but that's another story. Anyway, so maybe about 10 minutes after this cat gets thrown out of the club, he comes back like freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's got a gun. And the guy, he starts aiming the gun through the crowd. And me and Joel, what up, Joel, if you see this? Me and Joel, do you remember this night, Joel? Of course you freaking do. Of course you remember this night. I'm gonna tag you in this. Anyway, a guy comes back through the same door. I don't know how he got back in that door. He came back in the same door that they threw him out of. Remember, they used his head as a battering ram and threw him out? Well, he came back through that door. Why did they not lock that door? Maybe they did lock it. I don't know how he got in there. But he starts pointing his gun through the crowd at the guy he was fighting originally. All right? People, half the club, the club are dancing and the music is on. So not everybody saw the fact that he's waving this gun. Me and Joel saw that shit. And I was kind of froze. And I'll make my point here in a moment. Kind of froze. People start screaming once they notice he's got the gun. Everybody who is listening to the scream starts turning to see what they're screaming at. They start freaking screaming. People are pandemonium. And then the guy who he was originally fighting, the man waving the gun, and he sees the guy he was originally fighting, and he starts blasting, trying to hit the guy. Not hitting the guy, but hitting everybody else in the freaking club. And it was crazy. You could smell the gunpowder. It was all happening in slow motion. Pow, pow, pow. People are getting trampled. The club must have had like 400 damn people in that place, okay? If not more, all right? People are freaking pow, pow, pow. I'm watching people get trampled. I'm literally smelling gunpowder from the freaking gun. I'm hearing bullets whiz by my freaking ears. I'm freaking in shock. Like, is this really freaking happening? Joel is trying to hit the floor. While he's hitting the floor, he's trying to pull my punk ass down. Like, Negro, why are you standing there? I think I was in shock. Because I was literally like standing there looking at this guy like, why would you shoot into a crowd of people? You know what I mean? I could not register. My brain did not necessarily register what was actually going on. My senses picked it up. You know what I mean? Smell of gunpowder. I see the people getting shot. See the people getting freaking trampled. I see the guy he's trying to shoot at freaking hopping like a damn bunny rabbit all over everybody. And it was freaking hysterical. So finally, Joel successfully pulls me to the ground, and it's just freaking crazy. And the gunman starts chasing after whoever he had beef with. So while there is a moment of not chaos going on, me and Joel decide to run out of the door he came in, which is kind of like the back door to this particular spot in Long Island. Problem: it's freezing outside. Now we're outside and we're freezing. Why are we freezing? Because we left our sheepskin shearling coats in the coat check. We got to go get our coats. No way we are going to drive from Long Island back to Queens with no damn coat. Yes, I had heat in my car, but that's the fee. You know how much that damn sheepskin coat costs? What? Okay, we got to go back. So it's pandemonium, of course. There's cats scrapping outside the club. You know what I mean? I am trying to make my way to the car, and there's like all of these separate beefs breaking out. There's girls fighting over here. There's a couple of guys fighting over here. My car was kind of, my gold Acura Integra was kind of in the cut in the parking lot. So I managed to get to it safe, but it was like I had to go through Iraq to get the fucking car. So I get the car. Joel is like, meet me out in the front by coat check. By the time I pull around front, it's kind of hard to get back in the freaking club because the cops are there. Of course, NYPD is not playing no freaking games, and Long Island police especially. The acronym for NYPD is New York Pricks and Dicks. I respect our women and men of the blue cloth, but some of them, that's another blog. Anyway, we go back into the club. It's crazy. When we go back into the club, there were paramedics there already. They were trying to resuscitate a girl who got shot in her neck. They were doing chest compressions on her. I could see the freaking inside of her neck. Remember that shit, Joel? I could see the inside of her freaking neck. There are a couple of other people shot in the club that they're trying to fix all the stuff. I felt bad for the coat check guy. You know what I mean? It's mass hysteria. Everybody wants their freaking coat. There's about 40 of us trying to get our freaking coat. You know what I mean? The coat check guy gives this big dude, I guess he gave him the wrong coat. And the guy was like, this ain't my coat. So he snuffs the freaking coat check guy. I felt bad for him, man. How much you get paid at working at a coat check for a night? I don't think whatever he got paid was worth no punch in the face. Anyway, coat check guy gets punched in the face. People bum rush to coat check. Now, I see me and Joel's freaking shearling coats hanging right. I can see them. And I'm like, there's our coats, and everybody's scrapping on the floor. So push through those guys. I grab my coat. I grab Joel's coat. I throw them over the freaking guys that are rushing because the coat check dude is still getting punched in the face. The big dude was just wailing on him. I don't got no time to help coat check guy. And to be honest, the dude that was hitting him was so big, I didn't want no smoke with old boy. So I just wanted my coat. Threw the coats to Joel. Joel grabs the coats. We dip. Thug percentage. The reason why I tell you this story is this. And I want to ask you guys a question. Out of all the women and men that you know, or that you know casually, or don't even know, but you know of, what percentage of them are actually about that life? What is the thug percentage? A lot of us know women and men that they're not punks. They would fight. They're not punks, but they're not thugs. We all know people that have maybe a little bit of thug in them, so to speak, right? Pause. You know what I mean? They got a small thug percentage in them. They got heart. You know what I mean? You're not just gonna walk up on them, punch them in the face, and think shit is sweet. You will get punched back, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But what's the percentage? What's the percentage of just ruthless killers out there? What's the percentage? What is the thug percentage? How many thugs do you know? Real killers, like real guys and girls who are in those streets. You know, there are thug misses out there too. They keep the freaking, and they don't got no damn girl guns. You know what I mean? They don't got the little 22s in their shoes being all freaking cute. They might got one of those, that's the spare in the bra. You know what I mean? But I know chicks that carry 9 mils, okay? You know what I mean? And with hollow points, you know what I mean? And the girl mentality is like, well, the man is bigger than me, so I need a big gun to put a man down. Chick actually said that to me. You know what I'm saying? But how much, what's the percentage? What is the percentage? What is the thug percentage? Reason why I ask you that is because the thug percentage, at least that I know, I mean, I didn't grow up, I was never cold and hungry, didn't grow up originally with a lot, but even in the notorious hoods that I grew up in, whether that be East A Street, Avenue D in New York, East New York, whether it be freaking 5505 Beach Channel Drive, Auburn Projects, a far Rockaway, whether it was freaking 142 Place in Foch. Didn't live there, but I stayed there so damn much. I might as well just adopt the zip code, okay? You know what I mean? I lived on the other side of Rockaway Boulevard, if you really want to keep it tall, right? And all these places I lived in, you figured the percentage of thugs or killers or thug misses or people that was really about that action, I don't know, out of 100 people, maybe 5 of them were thugs. The thug percentage, 5%. Right. Now, with that thug percentage, put the thug percentage in your head. What is the percentage of thugs you know? Or know of? Or heard of? How many bullies are in a school? How many school bullies are there? What's the percentage of school bullies? How many people actually bully everybody else? Is it 100% school bullies? It can't be 100% because 100% school bullies means there's nobody to bully. There's nobody to pick on. What's the percentage? Maybe 1% of all of the kids in school are bullies? Is it 2%? Is it 8%? What's the percentage? Whatever that percentage is, get it in your mind. Now, how many thugs are in hip hop music? What's the percentage of ruthless gangster killers, gang affiliated people are in the genre of music we call rap? I'll wait. 5? 1%? Like the school? 5%? Like all the people you know, if you grew up in the ghetto? What is the percentage of tough women and men that you freaking know right now? And okay, now, does it match the percentage of tough guys and tough women in hip hop? I would argue that over half, over 50%, dare I say, is probably flirting with 65 to 75% of of either retired gangsters or active gangsters are in hip hop music or the genre of rap music, right? something is wrong here. The stats don't match what life is. The stats don't match what life is. And the reason why I told y'all the Long Island story is not to try to impress y'all. Murder, that life is an ugly thing. Joel was no punk. I wouldn't roll with no freaking punk to Brooklyn and Long Island. I'm not going to travel to 5 boroughs without a cat that I need to hang out with a guy that I know if we get jumped, he's going to actually freaking fight. He ain't no punk, but Joel is no gangster either. Your man, your favorite poet, ain't no bitch, but I'm a fucking poet. I'm no gangster. I'd rather be. You see what I'm at home. I'm at home. I'm not freaking gang banging, thugging, and slut. You know what I mean? I'm at the crib doing a podcast episode. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy and the not so sexy, big children and little. I'm Graffiti Blue, by the way. You're watching Just My Thoughts. That was a little commercial. Let's continue on. What's the percentage of thugs, though? So something is wrong, because I would argue that they're 65 to over 50% definitely. But I would argue that 65 to 75% of popular music, as far as the genre of rap, are either active gangsters, retired gangsters, or women and men that make reference to gangsters, or are actively either blood or Crip, or actively gang affiliated. There's nothing wrong with being gang affiliated. I'm not here to freaking judge. The sense of family is actually freaking dope. I'm not condoning or freaking endorsing anybody's lifestyle or being judgmental of anybody's lifestyle at all. All I'm saying is, what is the thug percentage? So why is it? I mean, for those of you who've watched these lives, or any of my content material, music, listened to any of my music, read any of my books, I talk about this theme often enough for you to know that you've heard this before. And I always maintain that something is wrong here. Something is incredibly wrong here, because we would have to follow the money to really find out that there is something very sinister and very diabolical going on here. Another friend of mine says, Lamont, are you scared because a lot of your material talks about conspiracy theories and you ever, when you break through, you ever fearful that when this material, when they start digging into your past and listening to your material, do you think that any of these conspiracy theories will get you in trouble? First off, a conspiracy is just people getting together, basically having a plan. You know what I mean? And people get together and plan things all the time. Yes, there is something malevolent about mankind. You know what I mean? We, since the beginning of man, we really are very good and efficient at thinking of bad shit to do to our brothers and sisters. Nobody knows how to hate quite like we do. You know what I mean? Nobody knows how to hold on to a grudge quite like we do either. But I have maintained, as far as this topic goes, is that it seems as if there's something very sinister behind the financing of this genre of music. Somebody's financing it, somebody's bankrolling it, somebody's putting money behind it. So if there are only 5%, the thug percentage is only 5% in the circles of people you have ever dealt with. And that's only 5%. If the bullies in school are only 2% of the people in school are actually bullies. If you take a whole ghetto neighborhood and you did a census of the ghetto neighborhood in the hardest area in whatever town you stay cleared up, the toughest town, it could be a town in LA, Detroit, Chicago, New York, Florida, wherever, Atlanta, wherever, Georgia, the most notorious crime-ridden place ever, right? If you took a census of that whole town, what would the thug percentage be? I'm not talking about guys who aren't afraid to fight. I'm not talking about women who aren't afraid to take the Vaseline out, put it on their face, and freaking go try to pull another bitch's wig off. I'm talking about the actual percentage of stone cold gangsters. And if that number is in the single digits, then I am justified in thinking that there is some sort of conspiracy, because the people that own the distribution to these record labels are not freaking, well, maybe they are gang affiliated. Maybe the Illuminati is their own gang. The people who control the publishing for these hip hop distributors, the publishing and distribution, they're not gangsters. Well, maybe they're gangsters in their own way too. But why then would they only bankroll highly sexualized or promiscuous women rappers as of late, or thug gangster rappers as of late? Why is the percentage way over 50% of the images that they show back to the people who look like me, those images that they project of people who look like me across the world doing thug activities or highly sexualized activities? Why do they get all the funding? Just